On the international level, in Asia, Africa, and Latin America, it's United States imperialism. Here inside America, it's United States fascism. But it's all one struggle. All the oppressed people all over the world, regardless of color, are struggling against a common enemy. The U.S. fascist, imperialist pigs. And it must be smashed, it must be destroyed, so we can institute a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And that way every man, woman, and child will have a decent life, the best that technology and resources can provide, and then we can have all power for the people. Can you cut there?
My name is Mumia Abu-Jamal. I'm on death row in Pennsylvania. I'm ex-president of the Association of Black Journalists in Philadelphia. I'm still a continuing revolutionary journalist, and I write for anybody who wants me to write for them. And I'm fighting my conviction, fighting the sentence, fighting for my life, and fighting to create revolution in America.
Mumia Abu-Jamal, a well-known radio personality and the former president of the Association of Black Journalists, was found shot and near death next to the body of Officer Daniel Faulkner. Mumia was charged with first-degree murder and taken to the hospital. According to Jamal, his police guards tried to kill him in the hospital by severing his life support lines. 4 months later, Mumia stood trial and was convicted of first-degree murder. His sentence was handed down on the weekend of the 4th of July.
I'm a member of the MOVE organization and a longtime supporter. I met MOVE while covering them in Philadelphia. I mean, no one in Philadelphia from the 70s to the mid-80s can claim to not know about MOVE in Philadelphia.
MOVE. MOVE advocated a back-to-nature, no-nonsense, no-technology lifestyle and refused to make concessions to the system. They were openly revolutionary and spoke out boldly against the status quo, including the police and Mayor Rizzo.
Every time a MOVE member leaves headquarters, he's followed by these persecuting ass cops. What we say is, we want an end to this persecution. We want an end to this hypocrisy of calling this the land of the free, home of the brave, while you're steady beating up, clubbing people, steady trapping people in the ground.
In 1978, the Philadelphia police attacked the MOVE compound. As gunfire erupted, Officer James Ramp was killed. When the firing stopped, Delbert Africa, unarmed and stripped to the waist, surrendered. The treatment he received was described as overzealous.
He's hitting him. Hitting him on the head. Kicking him on the head.
John Africa explains that this system will say there's nothing wrong with the system pointing guns at people, but there's everything wrong with people pointing guns at the system. That implicit within that is that no one can defend themselves, but that the system can liquidate people willy-nilly with no one saying a word. And they can. They've done it on May 13th, 1985. You've got more people liquidated on May 13th, 1985 by the state, but you've got no one convicted of murder, no one convicted of mass murder, no one convicted of providing instruments of crime. You've got no one convicted except Ramona Africa for survival, because survival is a crime.
What we have out there is war. And I knew from the very beginning that once we made that decision to go in there, it would in fact be war.
When a black man confronts a policeman, he's not supposed to survive. He's not supposed to walk away from that confrontation.
But first, the big story in Action News is the sentence of death for convicted cop killer Mumia Abu-Jamal. Action News reporter Vernon Odom was in the courtroom when the jury made its recommendation.
It took the jury of 10 whites, 2 blacks, just over 3.5 hours today to make their decision. It was death, Abu Jamal's life for Officer Dan Faulkner's. There were no emotional outbursts in the courtroom. Later, Abu Jamal shouted MOVE slogans as he was led away.
I was attacked. I was shot. I was charged with murder. I was attempted to be killed in a hospital in Center City, Philadelphia. But I'm still here. You know, I was shot, I was beaten, I was pulled through a railroading of a trial, sentenced to death. But, you know, I'm not crying, I'm not complaining, I'm continuing to fight the system.
The case of Mumia Abu Jamal is a case where the government is trying to kill a revolutionary, trying to literally take his life and put him into the electric chair. And we cannot allow that to happen. We cannot allow that to happen because it's the case of a human being's life, a human being who has struggled, who has dedicated his life to the liberation of his people. But also we cannot allow that to happen because it will set a precedent. And if we do not struggle tooth and nail to keep the state from killing him, then we are allowing a situation to happen where the government can accuse any of us of any crime and put us to death without any mass movement, without even having to take into consideration that there will be hell to pay if you try to kill our revolutionaries. And I think that's really important, because if we allow the government to kill him, we will be sentencing so many of our youth to death.
I'm here because I survived. You know, I'm here because I continue to exist and resist the system. You know, there ain't no illusion. No illusion. The question that should be asked, perhaps, if Mumia Jamal died and Officer Faulkner was alive, would he be here?
For many, many years, there's been a struggle within the left in this country and among progressive people. What do you do when your government has stepped outside the bounds of human decency and international law? Are we still bound by the laws of this country? When the United States was waging war against the people of Vietnam, that was what the struggle was. Did we have to just limit ourselves to protest petitions and marching on the sidewalks and coming down to Washington once a year to make our voices heard, which was good to do. But did we have to limit ourselves to that, or could we try more effectively to stop what the United States was doing?
Well, there are a number of campaigns that are going on. I mean, you will find campaigns around different individuals, whether it be trying to stop the execution of Mumia Jamal, whether it's trying to get the release of Alan Berkman, or get the extradition of Sylvia Baraldini back, or getting Sundiata or Sekou Oding and them out of Marion, or out of these 24-hour day lockups. You know, it's important that people support those kind of petitions. There's international campaigns. College campus students can invite people to come in and speak and educate around that. They can raise issues with their teachers. They can write the prisoners. They can visit the prisoners. We think that these are very important things to do. They can talk directly to the prisoners themselves, because once you talk to the prisoners, you get a different kind of view and a real feel of who they are, as opposed to what the government of the United States will tell you, that these people are terrorists and that they're cop killers and that they're bank robbers and all of these different things. And once you're able to sit down and talk to them and relate to them, then you begin to understand what motivates them, the principledness and the justice that they're seeking for oppressed people, not only here, but all over the world. And so there are a number of things that people can do, and these are just a few of them.
In May we celebrate Malcolm X's birthday. So we have to remember all of the brothers and sisters who are interned in concentration camps. And we have to tell them that we remember them, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to do greetings to them, and then you all can address them, and I will mail them for you.
Put that information out. If there's something happening in your area that we need to know about, then you should let us know. Write articles, take pictures, document what's going on, and let us all become aware of what's happening.
I think it is very important that the people on the outside must wage struggle. And by waging struggle, it allows us who are prisoners of war and political prisoners to realize that our efforts are in concert with the will of the people. As long as our efforts are in concert with the will of the people, at least the spirit of the prisoners of war will be satisfied.
Then when you begin to view your community as a family, then your nation as a family, then you reach those levels of concern which everybody would like to see. But it first starts with your being concerned about your mother and your father, your auntie and your uncle, your grandmother and your grandfather, your son and your daughter, your sister and your brother. Then on from there, their sisters and their brother, the extended family, the humanitarian concern. All this is based on one thing. It's based on love.
Brother, comrade Nelson Mandela, the political prisoners of the United States, especially African-American political prisoners, have written this brief statement to you and has asked me, as one of their former comrades in prison, to present it to you. There is a common thread and a common humanity that we all share. My brother, I have spent 19 years in prison in the United States for my political beliefs. And you, sir, you were the symbol that helped sustain me and other African-American political prisoners. Here in the United States, African-American people and their movements for liberation have been criminalized just as the ANC was criminalized by the racist, fascist apartheid regime in South Africa. Our fighters and freedom fighters have been slain in the streets of Harlem and Brooklyn. Our people who stand up for our freedom has been railroaded to prison by the same legal system that tries to protect you today and that tried to kill you yesterday. So on behalf of my brothers in prison, on behalf of the Puerto Rican nationalistas who cannot sit up here, on behalf of the Native American political prisoners, and on behalf of the white American political prisoners, I say to you, brother, we love you and we will not give up the fight. 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 Amen.